we doing, everybody? This is the Pop Music Freak back with another Song Facts Countdown video. We're up to song number 899 on my top 1,000 list of my favorite songs of all time. Just to explain for the newcomers, I'm doing the reaction video in a different light. I'm not actually reacting to the video itself. I am talking about the song facts, the reality of who the artist was, what the time period was, how it did on the charts, how many records it sold, and the critical feeling about certain songs. So, number 899 is another Beatles song. I think it's the third one on the list. I got 28 more to go after this one. Yes, the Beatles have had a big influence on the pop music scene. Can't deny it. Everyone that's alive knows who the Beatles are. I certainly know very well. 31 of their songs on my list. But here we are. First number one song in 1965 for them. The seventh number one, 8 Days a Week, is the Beatles song. Now I'm going to give you the song facts after I pause here to sneeze. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Nature happens. What can I tell you? Anyway, so 8 Days a Week, number 899 on the list. Here's the song facts. It was a song by the British English rock band The Beatles. It was written by Paul McCartney and John Lennon, based on McCartney's original idea. The song was released in the United Kingdom in December of '64 on the album Beatles for Sale. In the United States, it was first issued as a single in February of 1965, before appearing on the North American release of Beatles 6. The song was the band's seventh number one single on the Billboard Hot 100, a run of U.S. chart success achieved in just over a year. The single was also number one in Canada, Belgium, and the Netherlands. The Beatles recorded 8 Days a Week at EMI Studios in London in October of 1964. Track opens with a fade-in, marking the first time that this technique had been used on a pop studio recording. The song was reissued worldwide in 2000 on the Beatles compilation album One. It also provided the title for director Ron Howard's 2016 documentary film on the band's years as live performers, The Beatles, 8 Days a Week. Alright, so inspiration for the song. Paul McCartney has attributed the inspiration of the song to at least two different sources. In a 1984 interview with Playboy magazine, he credited the title to one of Ringo Starr's malapropisms, which similarly provided titles for the Lennon-McCartney songs A Hard Day's Night and Tomorrow Never Knows. McCartney recalled he said it as though he were an overworked chauffeur, 8 days a week. When we heard it, we said, really? Bing, got it. McCartney subsequently credited the title to an actual chauffeur who had once driven him to Lennon's house in Weybridge. In a Beatles anthology book, he states, I usually drove myself there, but the chauffeur drove me out that day, and I said, how you been? Working hard, he said, working 8 days a week. In a 2016 interview alongside Starr and Ron Howard in preparation for the release of the documentary, The Beatles 8 Days a Week, The Touring Years, McCartney reiterated that he had heard from a chauffeur who was driving him to Lennon's house while he was banned from driving. Starr has said he is not the source of the phrase. So there's a back and forth there a little bit. All right, recording. 8 Days a Week was the first song that the Beatles took into the studio unfinished to work on the arrangement during the session, practice that would become common for the band. The song was recorded on October 6, 1964, during two sessions that together lasted nearly 7 hours, with a 15-minute break in between. The band tried out several ideas for the intro and outro of the song. First take featured a simple acoustic guitar introduction. Second take introduced an oohing vocal that was experimented with until the sixth take, and when it was abandoned in favor of a guitar intro. The final outro, along with unused intro takes, was recorded separately on October 18th. The completed song incorporated another Beatles first in that it begins with a fade-in. 8 Days a Week marked the first time that a fade-in had been used to open a pop song. The instrumentation on the track consists of acoustic guitar, electric guitar, drums, bass, and overdubbed hand claps. The fade-in and coda both include guitar overdubs, played by George Harrison on his Rickenbacker 12-string. Alright, release and reception. 8 Days a Week was released on Beatles for Sale on December 4th, 1964. It was sequenced as the opening track on side 2 of the LP. Describing the unusual effect provided by the fade-in, particularly at the start of an LP side, author Mark Hertzgard writes that it gave listeners the sensation of hearing the music before the song actually arrived. It was as if the sound arose out of the distance, like a flock of migrating birds that suddenly fills the sky. The song, along with two others from the album, Babies in Black and No Reply, was considered for a single release. In the end, it was released as a single in the U.S. on February 15th, 1965, becoming a number one hit in the seventh in that country. Cashbox describes it as a hard-driving, rollicking pledge of romantic devotion with a contagious, repeating, rocking riff. The B-side was I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. The single release in the U.S. was a result of DJs playing the song from imported copies of the Beatles' For Sale album as an exclusive, since it did not appear on the album's U.S. counterpart, Beatles 65, nor did the B-side. Both tracks were included on the North American album Beatles 6, released in June of 65. 8 Days a Week was certified gold by the RIAA on September 16, 1965. It was the last of 7 songs by the Beatles to top the Hot 100 over a one-year period, marking an all-time record for a single act that has not been broken. In order, the 7 songs were I Want to Hold Your Hand, She Loves You, Can't Buy Me Love, Love Me Do, A Hard Day's Night, I Feel Fine, and 8 Days a Week. The song was also the second of 6 Hot 100 chart toppers in a row, not counting the EP4 by the Beatles that was released by one act, another record at the time, until the Bee Gees equaled it in 1978-79, and then Whitney Houston had 7 in a row, which broke the record from 85 to 88. The other singles in this run was, on the 6 in a row run is I Feel Fine, Ticket to Ride, Help, Yesterday, and We Can Work It Out. That was 6 in a row. So, that's it. In terms of live performances, although it was a huge American hit, the group did not think highly of the song. Lennon thought it was lousy, in retrospect, and they never performed it live or at any of their radio sessions for the BBC. The only live performance was for UK television on April 3rd, 1965, on the ITV series Thank Your Lucky Stars. No film or videotape of this episode is available, and it's considered lost. I'll have to check if it's on YouTube. I have a feeling it's not. We're going to have to do probably just play the studio version of the song. Paul McCartney performed it live the first time for any Beatle in 2013 at the Estadio Mineirão in Brazil, and sporadically throughout his 2013 to 2015 Out There tour. Okay, in terms of chart certifications, hit number 1 in Canada, the Netherlands, Belgium, Billboard's Hot 100, and in Cashbox. In West Germany, it got to number 5 on the charts. For the year, according to Billboard, ranked at number 55 for 1965, and it was certified gold by the RIAA, as I mentioned, for 1 million copies sold. So, that's about it. That's the information I have on the song. 8 Days a Week, Beatles' 7th number 1, number 899 on my top 1,000 of all time list. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this informative video. I hope you found it informative anyway. And I will post a link to whatever video is available in the description for you to watch, of course. I hope you liked the video. Hit those like buttons, please. That's the way other people get to find out that I actually exist. So much competition out there in this area with reaction videos. So this is my little niche that I'm trying to carve, giving you the song facts on each song. Alright, so subscribe away. Please share the video. Hit that notification bell. This way you know when my next videos are coming out. I'm generally doing 2 a day, depending on schedule. Who knows? There's a lot of going on outside of this, job-wise, wife-wise, all different things. So, thank you all for watching. God bless. Peace and love.